All right, good morning, guys. I want to take an opportunity to share how to make a useful tool that has had multiple applications for me throughout both professional and personal life, and how to utilize Google Sheets to make this. I think Google Sheets is a great program, right? Very similar to Excel, but I like Google Sheets as well. I've been using Google Sheets for a while, and this is one of the spreadsheets and templates that I've come up with over the years as far as just to help me track various either key events or people being gone or calendar events, or in this case, this is stock dividends, dates. So anything that has a date associated with it can the spreadsheet can use to track. So if you see here, right, it has different all these squares highlighted, right, which are associated with dates. This program automatically does it, so all you have to do is input the dates. The dates are your kind of hand jam. You got to put those in, which those are unique anyways for the most part to whatever application you need. But as you input these, it just automatically highlights the cells for you, and then you don't have to worry about doing any of that. So you can just input the dates, be done. So for instance, let's just look at here, right? Pioneer Natural Resources was a stock I was looking at, and it has, right, its earnings coming up next week. So I had looking at a buy date of Monday, so that way I could be there for the record date and collect the dividend for this stock. So if you look at how these dates are set up, so right, the buy date I had here was the 4th, the dividend, the 5th through the 6th, and then as far as having the stock for that, and then the dividend payment date, which shows me here later. So you see all these blocks correspond to these dates up here. Now the way this works is, right, so here's the 5th, here's the 6th. Say I wanted to make this extend out to the 8th, right here. I take this, I can change this to the 8th, and it populates right here. So these two green cells populated. I'm going to take that back so I don't mess with my spreadsheet. And then the way this yes no variable works is it just was used to change the color of the highlighted cell to help me kind of visually see the difference between the two. So if this is a yes, the cell's turned green. If this is a no, the cell is yellow. You can change that to any color you want. I'll show you how you can do that with conditional formatting here in a minute. But say I change this to no, changes that to yellow. So as I mentioned, this has been pretty useful to me over the years, just for a nice visual aid for tracking things. Looking here at the date, so I always start this on a Saturday. So as you can see, tomorrow is the 1st, tomorrow is the 2nd. So I started on a Saturday, so it automatically updates the dates. But if you can see, right, what next Saturday would be the 10th. So if I change this to the 10th, have these cells configured so that they automatically update, right? And this is just a simple previous cell plus one all the way through in a drag and drop application. So if you were to input equals this previous cell plus one and drag your circle here all the way out, it automatically does that for all of those. But let's go back for that. It updates automatically. Okay. Next thing, the conditional formatting. So when you do this conditional format, if you want it to apply to all these cells, right, you need to highlight all these cells all the way out through for the area you want initially. So as you can see, I put this out pretty far, so there's quite a bit of cells here. So if you go to format, conditional formatting, so here are all the rules that I have. So there's 6 rules here, and you can see there's 3 sets for green and 3 sets for yellow. So if we go back to this up here, right, I have, these are the 3 input date ranges. So that's what each of these correspond to. Each one is a green highlight rule. Each one is a yellow highlight rule. So starting down here at the bottom, right, if we look at this formula, it's an and statement that we'll be using. So it's an and, basically saying if this date, one of these dates, these in this in column going all the way out through this data range. That's what the dollar signs here are for. So if this is greater than or equal to the E5 input, Okay, so if it's past that, and this end date, see, I drag and drop there. Don't want to do that because you'll mess up your program. Um, and then if this end date is less than the F date, so if it is between these dates and you input a yes, so the Y variable here, this cell will populate as green. So if you look here, the date's up top here for these columns. So the N variable here, which it's a merge cell, right? So, but N2 is the top cell. So that's the one it'll use. So this in variable date, if these dates are between the input here, between E and F, this cell will highlight and it gets the yes, right? Um, here as well, here, so I'll show you, but here's the second set of data, here's the third set of data. So if all these conditions are met, that's your and statement. So greater than, less than, and the yes, then that cell will highlight. And I showed you it'll do that earlier. Here's the yellow statement. So the only change here, so if it's between the two and this were to be a no, then these would highlight as yellow, not green. Okay, so which I showed you earlier, if I were to change this to an N, these change to yellow. And that's the point of that conditional format. But I click back over here, right? Anywhere in these cells, these are the rules that are applied to all of them. Looking here, so as you can see here, now this set is covering the uh, H variable and the I variable. So this is saying if it's between these dates, it highlights as well. So this is green, right? And you can change this to any color you want. As far as these, you can go into the color scale, but you can change this to any color you want. I just chose green and yellow. Just time, it was visually appealing to me. So you can choose any color you want to once this rule is satisfied. Okay, so as mentioned before, these are the H and I variable. Here's your Y variable as well. So if you satisfy all these, you get green. If you looking at the yellow, if you have, here's your H and your I variables, right, and your dates, if they're between, if you get a no, then it's a yellow. So if you look at, so we mentioned here for Pioneer Natural Resources for September, right? For September here is within there's date range. So I put the same date here, right? So that it's greater than or equal to. So with those, these are both equal to the fourth. And then I get a no variable here input for this cell, which as you can see here, the J cell, then it turns yellow. So that is how you program this in. And just as mentioned, right, there's 6 conditional formats here, one for green and one for yellow for each of these 3 ranges. And each the and statement program that's in there covers, right, both of these inputs, and then the yes or no variable. And you can change that Y or N to anything you want. Any kind of, you can change it to an X and an O, those kind of things, and it will still work. All in all, I found this to be a very useful tool. The conditional formatting feature of Google Sheets is great. It allows you to do a lot of things and automate a lot of things that you'd otherwise have to hand jam. And I've seen time and time again people hand jamming these into schedules, calendars, in a professional setting, what I consider a high level project for planning purposes, and they're hand jamming these things in. So this program helps you automate that, and you can just input your dates, and then it'll highlight the cells for you, and you can make it, play with the aesthetics of it as far as how you want to make it. I hope this was useful. Please let me know. I appreciate any feedback. I hope you like this video, and thank you. Have a good day.